Good afternoon from all of us here at Hubbard's Marina. It is a breezy day here inside John's Pass, but we still got people walking around. Still a lot of people on the boardwalk, surprisingly. But the high tide is here. The restaurant dock, we've got people eating at the restaurant, but the water is literally coming up through the dock. You can see the pirate ship dock, the end of it's underwater. The tide is super high right now. Now this is not from the storm. Granted, the storm winds are probably helping a little bit, but these super high tide we have right now is because of the new moon. It is a very high tide. We're expecting 2.4 or 2.5 feet above sea level tonight at 12:30 p.m. Excuse me, 12:30 a.m. So it's going to be a super high tide tonight. Look at the end of the dock here. Our dock's almost, the end of it's almost underwater. The back of the office has water all the way up to it already, and the storm is not even here yet. So it's very impressive the amount of water we have inside the pass. You can see the Florida is above my head. The back of the Florida, the ramp's never like that. We actually had to take the ramp off the Friendly because the high tide was so high it dragged the ramp off the dock. So the catwalk is almost underwater. Very impressive the amount of water we have already. So right now, again, is high tide. That's why the water is so high. It's a new moon high tide, not so much because of the storm. We got a bunch of foam in here because the waves are rolling in. You can see underneath the bridge, the waves are starting to roll in. There's already about 5-foot seas 10 miles from shore, and then out deeper, it's very rough already. So tonight, 12:30 a.m. is a super high tide. We're actually gonna be, look at that, the water's coming over the end of the dock already. Pretty cool. So tonight we're going to be actually hanging out on the boat all night because of this high tide. It's actually expected to be naturally higher tonight. Again, 12:30 a.m. And then tomorrow at about 1:52, we're going to have another high tide as well. And tomorrow afternoon, that high tide is probably going to be even a little bit worse because the storm's going to be past us at that point. And as the storm passes us, that counter rotation will send water right into the Florida peninsula. So we're going to have a super high tide tonight, 12:30 a.m. and then again tomorrow afternoon at 1:50 p.m. So those big high tides, definitely want to pay attention to them. If you got a boat in the water, you got to pay attention to it. You need long lines, cross your lines, forward springs, stern springs, everything. We're going above and beyond. You can see here our web of dock lines on the Florida, and then at a satellite location we have all our charter boats docked up. So tonight we'll be bouncing in between all the boats, making sure we adjust the lines as that tide comes in. Again, 12:30 a.m. that super high tide. I did want to show you the back of the office as well. The tide's already starting to come over the seawall here. Pretty interesting. You guys working? Trying to. Had to make them stop. They're banging on the deck right now. Getting the deck all nice for you guys, working on the Florida, and I had to make them stop for the video. But a welcome break, I'm sure. So long story short, the high tide is what we're worried about here, guys. As the storm passes and pushes water up on us, the high tide is what we're worried about the most. We're not going to have much wind. The wind is going to be fairly significant, probably around 35, 40 mile an hour winds. But for the most part, what we're worried about is this high water. And the high water is, as you can see, already coming over our back seawall. We've got the hurricane door on the back of our office. Our back of our office is all sealed up, spray foam. We did not put the hurricane windows on the door, and hopefully we're not going to regret that later. But the tide is already coming up over the seawall back here, and it is impressively high for sure. Woo! So pretty cool. I think tonight at 1 a.m., around 1 a.m., 12:32 is that high tide. tonight's high tide is going to be even more impressive. So stay tuned for more videos from us. We're going to be keeping you guys up to date through the night as we have that super high tide overnight period. If you miss it, you can always watch it tomorrow, and then check in with us tomorrow again around 1:52. We're going to see that next high tide is going to be tomorrow around 1:52. So those two high tides are what we're looking at and worried about and expecting some high water from. As far as the winds are concerned, not really significant winds. On the beach here, the waves aren't that high, surprisingly. I was expecting a little bit higher wave action. The winds are kind of still predominantly out of the east. Once the wind shifts out of the south, we'll have more wave action on the beach. But I'm gonna walk out here to the jetty and show you an image of the jetty. So once the wind shifts out of the south, we'll have more wave action for sure. And then at that point is where we'll see the high waves on the beach. But hopefully we'll get some of that high waves on the beach because we're hoping that this will break up that red tide and move it around. You can see now we're underneath the bridge. I'll show you the bridge embankments are completely underwater. Look at that. Pretty impressive for sure. Those things are normally 2, 3, 4 feet out of the water. People are normally standing on them. So pretty impressive to see the bridge, the foot of the bridge being taken over. Wow. Still a lot of people out here fishing though. Woo! So again, I was talking to a guy earlier. He is actually out here catching redfish. You can see that wave rolling in. Still fishing. That's hardcore right there. So again, the high tides are what we're worried about. We're expecting a little bit of wind in the range of around 30 to 50 miles an hour. The bands, the big feeder bands coming off the storm, those could have some pretty severe thunderstorms, maybe even a tornado or a water spout. So you want to keep your eye out for that. So we're going to be hanging out here all day and all night and watching our boats, making sure they're safe for your next trip out with us, and hopefully staying safe ourselves. And this weekend, all this bad weather will be gone by the weekend. So we're gonna have a beautiful weekend of weather and great fishing behind this storm. So here's the jetty. What's up, man? How you doing? Definitely some bigger waves out here. Pretty clean waves. Good time for some surfing. John's Pass, still busy. Woo. Catching anything out here?
Snook.
Snook. Catching some snook, huh? On the live shrimp? Wow. Nice. How many snook? 2. 2 snook? Do you mind being on camera?
What's that?
Mind being on camera? Catching some snook?
Yeah.
Very cool. On the live shrimp?
Yep.
Nice, nice. Even with the dirty water, huh?
Yep, I was surprised.
Yeah, me too. That's cool. Some nice snook. 20 to 24 inches?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, dude. Good job. So out here catching fish in the middle of the storm. Look at that. The end of the jetty is almost underwater. That is crazy. Whoa. Look at that. The water is almost engulfed the end of the jetty. That is crazy. This is what always interests me. You can actually see the water surging through the jetty. This is a rock jetty, so we pile up the rocks and then build the concrete sidewalk on top of the rocks. And when the waters get really heavy and high like this, you can see the water surging. It's actually going all the way through the jetty and pushing the sand away from the jetty. So the water is literally going through and over the jetty right now. And I'm not walking to the end of the jetty today. I've got my nice shirt on. Whoa, look how many people are out here. That is impressive in and of itself. So this is a pretty good swell we got here on the beach. There's a 2 or 3 foot wave breaking on the beach. Man, I hope these people are being careful of the rip currents. We've got some serious rip currents going on right now. So definitely, if you're going to the beach, watch out for those rip currents. But definitely gonna help us with this red tide issue. We got this nasty wave action going on for the next 24 to 48 hours. And then we have a cold front with the waters clearing up. That cold front should cool things down and help kill it off. And then we're gonna have a really beautiful weather window from Friday until about Monday, Tuesday really. So Friday to Tuesday morning, we're gonna have a beautiful weather window, and then it's gonna get nasty again Tuesday night, Wednesday, with another big cold front. And those big cold fronts should hopefully help clear out the rest of this red tide. It's not quite as rough out here as I was hoping it would be. The rougher it gets, the more that red tide gets stirred up, and the better chances of it getting broke up and killed off. But I think it's pretty rough out here. It's getting stirred up quite a bit, and I'm hoping that that cold front, followed by another cold front, will be enough to clear out some of that red tide, whatever's left. It is much better out here than it has been, as you can hear from that gentleman who just talked to. Plenty of people catching fish inside John's Pass. And this is a high tide, it's here. We got another super high tide tonight, 12:30 a.m. Tune in tonight to see the video. We're gonna do another video from that high tide. And then also tomorrow about 1:50, we're gonna have another high tide. Look at these waves. These kids are out here body surfing in these waves. And since I've been standing here, they've probably moved almost 20 to 30 yards down the beach. These kids are just getting sucked down the beach to this jetty. Once they get to this jetty, it's definitely gonna be a hectic, scary issue. So hopefully these guys know what they're doing. I see Dad over here standing in the waves, so hopefully he's watching pretty close. But definitely some serious rip current action going on out here, as we can see from these kids getting moved around, and some pretty serious wave action. But looking forward to getting this over with, and some beautiful fishing this weekend, offshore, near shore, and inshore. So come out and join us. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too busy. Again, Captain Dylan Hubbard, Hubbard's Marina. We'll keep you in tune to what's going on, and we'll keep the videos coming, guys. Hopefully you enjoy them. We'll see you soon, and I'm gonna get out of here before this wave hits me. Have a good day, y'all.